analysis, and already you know that we finished 7 lectures. Now I'm going to introduce the concept of the fixed point iteration applications, and already in our previous class we discussed the concept of the fixed point iteration. Okay, so now here simply here I'm going to discuss the theorem, right? Actually we are discussing the theorem, right, in the last class. So now here I will complete the theorem, and after that we will discuss some more applications and the theorems related to the fixed point iteration method. Okay, and now here simply in a fixed point iteration method, in the last class we discussed that the definition and the examples, right? And after that I gave the theorem statement. So once I will recall the statement of the theorem, that is, if G belongs to I, they are saying that G belongs to some closed interval a comma b, and G of x is also belongs to closed interval a comma b, x is also belongs to a comma b. Then we have to prove that it has some fixed point. Okay, the meaning of that one, it is enough to prove that it satisfies the definition of a fixed point iteration. Okay, and the second condition is we have to prove that modulus of g dash of x is less than or equal to k, where k is nothing but it is a positive value. Okay, so now coming to the proof of these two simple thing, right? But before going to discuss that one, we have to know the intermediate value theorem. Okay, so don't worry, I will discuss all those, and I think I discussed the graph related to this one also, right? So now first of all, just write down proof. I will say the sentence now, write down if g of a is equal to a, or g of b is equal to b, if g of a is equal to a or g of b is equal to b, then small g has a fixed point at an end point. If not, so if it is equal to a and if it is equal to b, that means by taking the intervals a and b, by substituting the value of the a in a function, then what we get, g of a is equal to a some value and g of b is equal to some b. So these are nothing but the minimum values and maximum values. That is the concept of the interval. If not, so if there is no chance to exist like this, then how we have to do? They are saying that if not, next line, if not, then g of a is greater than a, and g of b is less than b. Because here we have maximum value and here we have minimum value. That's why I am taking the value of the g of a is greater than a, and the value should be less than b. So that's why I consider like this. Next slide. Now consider a new function. H of x is equal to g of x minus x, which is a continuous function, on closed interval a comma b. See here, I am taking that x is equal to a. Okay, then what we get here, h of a is equal to g of a minus a. And how the value, already we know that g of a is, see here, if this value is equal to a, then it is nothing but 0. So that's why what we are taking, if not, we are not discussing this one. If it is not happening, then how we have to consider. So now here g of a minus a I consider, and they mentioned that g of a is greater than 0. So obviously how this value will be, it is also greater than 0. And now here I am taking that x is equal to b. Then h of b is equal to g of b minus b, which is less than 0. I am taking one value as a greater than 0 and another value as a less than 0. Okay. So actually from this now here, what I am doing is, now I have the value of the h of a and h of b. We have to consider that some h of p equal to 0. But how we have to consider? By intermediate value theorem. Otherwise I will say the statement right now. By the intermediate value theorem, we have right in the next line, there exists P belongs to A comma B. There exists P belongs to A comma B. The meaning of this one is, if any value is existing in a closed interval A comma B, then we can say that h of P is equal to 0. So therefore now what we have, h of P equal to 0. So here you can take any value, that is g of A or g of P, whatever it is. So simply here what I am doing is I consider it as some h of P. So that's why what is the definition of the h of x here from equation 1? I am writing it as a g of P minus P is equal to 0 from equation number 1. So g of P is equal to P, which is a definition of fixed point. Therefore what we can say that yes, it's satisfying the definition of fixed point. So here we can say that yes, the fixed point, at least one fixed point is exists. Okay, now write down after this one, right up to here, and after this one write down. Therefore G has at least one fixed point, in a closed interval A comma B. This is nothing but the proof for the first one. Now put aside heading second one. In second one what they asked to prove that g dash of x is less than or equal to 1. Okay. So now write down. Suppose that modulus of g dash of x is less than or equal to k, where k is less than 1. So how I am taking the value of the k which is less than 1. Okay. So then I am taking that g dash of x is less than or equal to k. Now write down. And in these all theorems, just we have a theory only, mostly. Right. And that P and Q are two fixed points. Because what they mentioned in the previous one only, we took that it has at least one fixed point. So that's why here I am taking the two fixed points. Okay. So two fixed points in closed interval A comma B. Now write down. If P is not equal to Q, the meaning of that one is, sometimes there is a chance to say that P and Q both are same. But here how we are taking, both are not equal. So if P is not equal to Q, then by Lagrange's mean value theorem, implies that a number C, you can say take that lambda or whatever it is, simply I am taking that C. A number C exists between P and Q. And hence in a closed interval A comma B, with so generally by using the Lagrange's theorem we have that the result is f dash of C is equal to g of b minus f of b minus f of a by b minus a. This is nothing but the result of the Lagrange's mean value theorem. Now I am applying this one for the function g. Okay, and then what we get, g dash of C is equal to g of what we are taking P and Q, no? So that's why here G of Q minus, otherwise here you can take that P also, whatever it is, that is your wish. So G of P minus, because I have to apply the modulus, that's why I am taking this way, whole divided by P minus Q. So this is nothing but the result obtained from the Lagrange's mean value theorem. So next write down. Now applying modulus on both sides. Now apply modulus on both sides. Apply modulus on both sides. Then is equal to G of P minus G of Q whole divided by modulus of P minus Q. Now I am taking cross multiplication, that G of P minus G of Q is equal to G dash of C into P minus Q. Okay? Into P minus Q. So now here, generally in a theorem, what they mentioned is, see clearly, if in addition G dash of x exists on closed interval a comma b and a positive constant k is less than 1, that's why I think that k is less than 1, exists with a modulus of G dash of x. So what they mentioned, therefore modulus of G dash of x is less than or equal to k. Okay. So what they are saying, then there is exactly one fixed point in closed interval a comma b. So by taking this one, we have to prove that it has only one fixed point value. Okay. So that's why here if p, so already I said that if when we can prove that the function g has a fixed point, actually we have to prove that the function g has only one fixed point. For that we can take that there are two fixed points P and Q, and finally if you are able to prove that both these values are equal, then it is enough, then the proof is finished. Okay. But here what I am taking, both values are not equal. Okay, I am checking that both are separate. So now here, according to the condition, see here what I have, I am taking this as a equation number 1. So G dash of x value, how the value is? It is less than or equal to k. So then what is the value of the G dash of c? It is also less than or equal to k, because where x is nothing but any number. So now it is k that is less than or equal to P minus Q. So strictly I am writing that k of P minus Q. Okay. So now here what I am doing is, where k is less than 1, right? Otherwise I will write clearly here. Then no need of this step. So now clearly we know that this k value is strictly less than 1. That's why now less than 1 into modulus of P minus Q, that is less than modulus of P minus Q. Finally what I have that G of P minus G of Q is less than modulus of P minus Q. Yes. So by this what we get, if I take this value to this side, here I get that is less than 1. Right? So when we have, I am saying that both are not equal. So here what is happening is, so here what, see, of course I can say in one sentence also, but I am not doing that one, because you have to understand. By taking this condition and finally I am taking the help of the Lagrange's mean value theorem, I have that modulus of G of P minus G of Q is less than modulus of P minus Q. Right? So here when we are taking the difference of this one, and how we took the difference, G of P means generally P. Right? What is the value? By using the definition of the fixed point, G of P means P minus G of Q means Q is less than modulus of P minus Q. Is it possible? So what we are getting, modulus of P minus Q is less than modulus of P minus Q. So here we are not getting that, which is some inequality, and of course which is not possible. ఇక్కడ మనకు ఎలా వస్తుందంటే modulus of 2 is less than modulus of 2, like this. If the values of P and Q are some values, then simply I am taking one example. So here what we are getting? We are getting that modulus of 2 is less than modulus of 2, otherwise modulus of 3, like that. Same value I am getting by using the fixed point iteration. What is this value? P. And what is this value? Q. Now what we have? Modulus of P minus Q is less than modulus of P minus Q. What is happening here? Actually, which is not possible. Is it possible? No, never. So that's why here we can write that which is contradiction. So why I got this contradiction? Because I consider if suppose that P is not equal to, I took that P is not equal to Q. That's why I have like this. So now actually what is the, see what I did is, I want to explain one thing here. I have to prove that it has only one fixed point. For that we can take that P and Q or two fixed point, and we can, if we are able to prove both are equal, yes, then we can say that yes, it has only one fixed point. But instead of that one, what I did is I took that P and Q both are two fixed points, and I took that P is not equal to Q. Right? What I have to prove? P equal to Q. So instead of proving this one, I took P is not equal to Q, and by taking this one, I am getting that which is a contradiction. So whatever I took, that is wrong. So now which one is correct? P is equal to Q. I have to consider P is equal to Q. Okay? Instead of that, I consider that P is not equal to Q. So when I am considering P is not equal to Q, then I got a wrong answer. So wrong answer means what I consider that is wrong. No. That's why P is not equal to Q is wrong. Therefore, here what we have to write? Our supposition is wrong. Therefore, what is the correct? Therefore, P is equal to Q. So, there exist two fixed points, and we have proved that both are equal. Therefore, we can say that yes, by taking this condition, it has only one fixed point. Okay, so once again I will explain. So, in a second statement, they asked to prove that actually modulus of g dash of x less than or equal to k. By taking this one, they asked to prove that it has only one fixed point. So for that, simply what I did is I took that P and Q both are two fixed points, and I suppose that P is not equal to Q. I am saying that P is not equal to Q. So by that finally I had that the result which is not possible. Okay, which is not possible. So why I am getting this one? Because I consider like this. So what P is not equal to Q. So this is the wrong consideration. That's why I am getting that this way. That's why our supposition is wrong. Our contradiction, which is a contradiction to our supposition. That's why what is the exact consideration part? P equal to Q. So నేను wrong అవుతుంది అని ప్రూవ్ చేసా. వేరే వెళ్తే wrong అవుతుంది అని ప్రూవ్ చేసా. So see here we have that only two ways. We have to prove that P is equal to Q. Otherwise, by taking P is not equal to Q, and if we are able to prove that our consideration is wrong, then we can say that directly P equal to Q. Okay. Instead of instead of proving P equal to Q, it is enough to prove that P is not equal to Q. Okay, so P is not equal to Q consider చేస్తే నాకు wrong వచ్చింది. అంటే ఏదైతే మనం అస్యూమ్ చేసుకుంటున్నామో అది wrong. So what is the another possibility? That is P is equal to Q. That's why here we have to consider this. Clear? So I hope it is clear to you. And simple thing. This is not the matter. ఇక్కడ ఒకటి మీకు ఎందుకు ఇది కాంట్రడిక్షన్ అవుతుంది, that's the thing you have to understand here. I hope you will. And now here I am going to discuss one problem. So now here right now problem. Solve x cube plus 4x square plus 4x square minus 10. Same question. Equal to 0. Has a unique root in closed interval 1, 2. Okay, so now see, try to understand this one. First of all, I will explain the Actually, what is a fixed point iteration? We have to use the fixed point iteration for this one. So in fixed point iteration method, we have to calculate that some g of x is equal to x. Okay, remember that one. So we can solve this one in a different way. So now here nearly. So I'm not taking all the ways, just I'm taking that 5 possible ways, and by using these, definitely we have to solve. Okay, so then only we can understand the difference. Okay. Now firstly what I am doing is simply x cube yes. So now here first of all what I am taking is x cube plus 4x square minus 10 I have. So now here I am taking that let x cube plus 4x square minus 10 is equal to 0. We have to solve this problem for g of x. Now what I am doing is I am taking 4x square this side, then 10 minus x cube. Okay, and I am taking that 4 to this side, then x square equal to 1 by 4 of 10 minus x cube. I have square, so I am taking the square root on both sides. Then x is equal to under root of 1 by 4 of 10 minus x cube. Then it is x is equal to plus or minus 1 by 2 under root of 10 minus x cube. Okay, so this is some value. See here what I have, x is equal to this function. So this is considered as g of x. Okay, remember that one. And next here I am going to take that the another one, that is simply see here what they gave. This is a 1 first g of x, and here I am taking that again x cube plus 4x square minus 10 equal to 0. Actually here we have 5 ways, so I am discussing all those. Okay, so coming to here directly I am taking that, we know that, see clearly, we know that g of x is equal to x. Directly I am considering this as a some g of x. Then what we get, x cube plus 4x square minus 10 equal to x. Okay, then x cube plus 4x square minus x minus 10 equal to 0. So this is another possibility. What is the answer? X cube plus 4x square, sorry, x cube minus plus 4x square minus x minus 10. That's it. So this is nothing but the possibility. Okay, next I am taking that the another possibility, that is simply here what I am doing is I am taking that x cube plus 4x square minus 10 is equal to 0. Again I am considering it as some g of x. So what is the formula? X is equal to g of x. Now x equal to x cube plus 4x minus 10. So like this I have. So here actually what they are doing is, now here simply I am taking that x cube here and I am taking the remaining values to this side, and it is 4x square. No? Yes. So now here what we get? Now simply here for this one I took that x is equal to g of x, and for this one what I am doing is x cube is equal to 10 minus 4x square. Okay. Now here I am writing it as some x into x square equal to, I am taking x square common, then 10 by x, wait, actually they are taking that x square value. Okay, no problem. So now here I am taking that x common. We have number of ways, so that's why I am taking in order only. So now here when I am taking x common, then we will get that 10 by x minus 4x. Okay, and this x will be cancelled. Now what we have, x square equal to 10 by x minus 4x. And still we can write it as nothing but simply x is equal to 10 by x minus 4x whole to the power of 1 by 2. Okay, so next is this one. Okay, 3 are finished. Next, in the next way what they are doing is, simply they are taking that the value of the x cube plus 4x square minus 10 equal to 0, and from this they are going to calculate, they are going to take that x common, so then it is equal to 10. Okay, and here what we have, x cube plus 4x square, we can take that x square common. Okay, So now simply I am taking x square common, then I will get that x plus 4 equal to 10. So now x square equal to 10 by x plus 4. Now x is equal to 10 by x plus 4 whole to the power of 1 by 2. This is the another value. Once I want to check. Yes. So this is nothing but the another value. And in another way, of course, they are taking that the value is nothing but simply they are taking the derivative. Okay. Now see clearly how they are taking. What is the given value? X cube plus 4x square minus 10 equal to 0. Okay. So now here this is some g of x. What is g dash of x? G dash of x is 3x square plus 8x. 4x square now. So simply it is nothing but 8x. Now how they are taking is x is equal to g of x by g dash of x. Okay. Then x is equal to what is g of x? X cube plus 4x square minus 10 whole divided by 3x square plus 8x. So if you want to stop with this, yes, you can stop here. Otherwise you can take the cross multiplication. Now you will get the doubt, ma'am, why you are saying all this, ma'am? Simply they gave that only one function, right? That is nothing but x cube plus 4x square minus 10, which is equal to 0 in closed interval 1 comma 2. And here I solved this one and this one and this one, this one, this one. Why all this? See here, ma'am. From one function, okay, only from one function they gave this one, no? So from this one function, firstly I can, so I am taking this one because here I have that the fixed point definition g of x equal to x, where g of x is this value. By substituting this one I have this one, right? It is a new equation now, otherwise new function now. Next, coming to the second one, this one. So here I took the same thing, right? And from this just I took that x cube here and the remaining values to other side, and I took x common and I cancelled. From this again I calculated x value. Okay? This way is correct, this way is also correct. Next, coming to here I took that 4x square, I mean x square. From this second term I calculated the value of the x. And here from the first term. And here from the fixed point definition. And here from the both terms, here I have x square. So from the both terms I calculated, this is nothing but fourth term. And finally fifth one, to know about the x, simply they consider that g of x by g dash of x. So here actually we have totally 5 cases. Okay. So now here different functions we formed by using the concept of the fixed point iteration. So this is nothing but the fixed point iteration. How we have to consider the function in any way. And see here I have totally 5 ways. So all these 5 ways are correct. Okay, remember that one. And now here I am going to discuss this problem by taking all these 5 conditions, because we have to know how the problem is going and see clearly. I am saying I am taking only one problem, but for that problem I am taking different functional values. Remember that one. Okay. So now here actually the fixed point iteration method is somewhat different. So I will say how to calculate this one. Okay. So now in the next class we will see the solution for this one. And now here just we have 5 methods. You have to remember all these 5 methods. I mean 5 functional values. By substituting, firstly I will take this question and first one, this one. After completing that problem, again I will take the question and with the second function. So I will say few and you have to solve the remaining. Okay. I hope it is clear to you. And of course in any way we can consider the function g of x. Okay. So in examination or normally if you want to solve any homework problems, at that time also you can calculate in any way. Okay. And see here girls, in the next class I am going to discuss the next problems related to this one, and we will discuss, I mean if possible we will discuss few more topics also. Thank you girls, I hope it is clear to you, and if you have any doubts then you can ask me. Thank you.